Episode 157 of the 4x4 podcast is brought to you by Artemis Overland Hardware. Artemis Overland Hardware is a family business with a huge selection of overland equipment in stock for online orders, or you can visit the showroom located in Springfield, Missouri. Either way, Artemis Overland Hardware will get you equipped and ready for all your adventures, wherever they may take you.
You're listening to the 4x4 podcast, the podcast all about four-wheeling, overlanding, off-road racing, and the outdoor lifestyle. We talk about news, tips and tricks, answer your questions, and interview big and little names in the off-roading world. So whether your rig is busted and you're in the shop wrenching on it, or you're on your way to the trail, join us and we'll keep you plugged in on topics to help you get away. Here are your hosts, Dan, Craig, and Rich.
Good evening, gentlemen. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Doing great, yeah.
Awesome.
Finally taking a break. It's been a busy week.
Yeah, still working on all the house stuff?
Oh, all the houses stuff, yeah.
The multiple houses?
Yeah. Hey, hope there's a light at the end of the tunnel. We're starting to see the finish line, so.
Well, that's good.
Getting better.
You got to hurry it up and get it done so that you can beat the rush.
Yep, I hear you. Craig, what have you been up to?
Not much. Just decided to, clean up the garage a little bit. Got a little bit bad news about the transmission, but...
Oh, Lord. You can tell us about that here in a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, on today's podcast, I had a chance to sit down here on Skype with George from Automotive Performance Group. And you may have not heard about them, but I highly recommend you check out the links to them. I've got them on the show notes. You can find them at the4x4podcast.com/157, or usually, and a lot of people don't know, the podcast player that you're listening to right now, most likely, unless you're using the web, in which you probably already see the show notes, you can actually see the show notes within the app, whether it's the podcast app on iOS or, something like Pocket Casts on Android. You'll be able to see those show notes there, but see some of the pictures that we're talking about, and I highly recommend you check those out. Again, the link, if you're just going to go to it, is the 4x4podcast.com/157. But without any further delay, we'll jump to that interview. Tonight on the podcast, I'm glad to have George from Automotive Performance Group. How are you doing today?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Awesome. Well, I'm really excited to talk about a whole bunch of Automotive Performance Group stuff, and especially this Ford Ranger that I've seen on your Facebook page and Instagram. But before we get talking about all that, can you tell me a little bit about yourself and some of your history in off-roading?
Sure, absolutely. Well, let's start with me. Let's start with the 5-year-old packaging fender clips in my dad's parts warehouse. Me and my sister. He paid us $5 a day total, and we used to spend that money for Slurpees and hamburgers down at the corner Yellow Basket in Santa Ana. I was born into this business. I love everything about it. I knew one day I'd be building vehicles, and here I am doing it. APG was founded in about 2018. The name is new to the industry, but myself and our company's knowledge is not new. We've got a team of about 15. Overall, we've got over 100 years of experience between all of us together. Everything from homologation, alternative fuel, powertrain integration, drivetrain, composite manufacturing, body panel design. A lot of different fields in the automotive business, and I've tailored everything of those categories to, performance modification. And our first project, like you just brought up right now, our first showcase to the market is our Ranger project. We're happy to introduce this pro runner to the market, and I think our team really did a great job with it.
Awesome. Well, so Southern California, I don't know that anybody could be down here and interested in cars and not be into off-roading as well, because this is, from what I'm finding out, like kind of the center of gravity for a lot of rock crawling, desert racing, and everything in between.
Absolutely. I've never met somebody who went out in a proper built Jeep, truck, or buggy and did not have a time in their life. I don't know anybody. As a matter of fact, if you don't have fun off-roading, there's something wrong with you.
You probably don't have a heartbeat. I don't know. That's possible.
Yeah, that's the truth, man. Absolutely.
Awesome. Well, it sounds like Automotive Performance Group really has all parts of a vehicle covered. Somebody is specializing in whether it's body, drivetrain, suspension, whatever. They got it all. So
we do.
Tell me a little bit more about, kind of what you guys do. I know the first project is the Pro Runner for the Ford Ranger, but it sounds like you guys are going to be branching in other things just to capitalize on that expertise.
Absolutely. We've got a line of models planned in. Some we can talk about a little bit later.
Okay.
Some we can talk about now. I feel the best way to look at a company's capabilities is to take like a virtual tour through the warehouse. We've got a 45,000 square foot facility, right?
Oh, wow.
Not all of it's being used right now. We've downsized quite a bit. It's with plenty of room to grow. So let's say you walk into our shop, you'll see everything from a body shop department that's on one area of the warehouse. You look over to the right, you'll see a 30-foot long in-house PPG mix paint booth studio. You look in the far corner, you'll see a metal fabrication shop. Then you look in the other corner, you'll see a big 10,000 square foot composite department where we can actually laminate and make the majority of our parts from raw materials under one roof.
Wow. I may need to come down and see it. Where is it you're actually located?
I'm right there, and I'm in Garden Grove, California.
Garden Grove, California. So that's pretty central to all Southern California type stuff. It's just a short drive for me. There's not a ton of, I'm out near Barstow where people go and do a lot of testing, but there's not a lot of great off-road shops actually out here in the vicinity. People are just coming out to visit the desert, and then they go back to their shops.
Yeah. Well, hey, I extend the invite to you and your listeners. Come on down to APG. We don't mind. I mean, I think the best thing is to show what you got, and I would love to have you.
That'd be awesome. Yeah, once I'm able to go farther than the end of my driveway, maybe we'll come down and visit.
Yeah, I think I should rephrase that. Come on down after this nightmare.
Yeah, eventually this will all be over. We'll be able to go back outside and do fun things.
Yeah, absolutely. Heck yeah. Trails will open up before you know it. We'll all be out there kicking up dust.
Exactly. All right, so let's dive in here to the Pro Runner. Is this like a full-on, somebody brings you a truck, or do they just order the truck directly from you? How's this all work?
Yes, got it. So you can do either way. We can help you source a new Ford Ranger of your choice, or we can modify your existing truck. If you're looking to modify an existing truck, reach out to us and we can go over, what modifications we can do to your Ranger. If it's a 2-wheel drive, it's a 4-wheel drive. There's some variances. Right now we're currently only building off of the 5-foot bed platform with the full 4-door. We do not have molds for the long 5.5-foot, 6-foot bed.
And this is the new Ranger, right?
This is the new Ranger, correct.
Right.
We're building off of the USA Spec 2019 Plus Ranger.
Okay.
We get questions. We get asked all the time if we can build on the international T6 Ranger. There's hundreds of thousands, if not a million of them outside the United States.
Yeah.
We have not yet tested our system on one. We would love to. So if any of your listeners have a T6, we'll pay you. Come down. We will. Yeah. We'd love to try it out.
Well, I know we've got a bunch of listeners in Australia, and a couple of them I know for a fact have those Ford Rangers down there. And that's where I first really kind of got a really good look. Well, I should take that back. I did see some of the global spec Ford Rangers when I was in Afghanistan. They were being used through a lease there, but I think they were sourced through the Asia Pacific, Australasia area. And so they've had the Ford Ranger for a long time, and it looks very similar, but from what you kind of describe, it's in fact not the same.
Correct. Yeah, they did a general overhaul in 2018, released in 2019 in the United States. There was some cosmetic changes, some structural changes, a lot of interior enhancements. Think about all the modern technology we have in cars.
Yeah.
They have adaptive cruise control and proximity sensors and a lot of functions in the U.S. market that that rugged international version just wouldn't cut it for U.S. market.
Very utilitarian.
Utilitarian, that's the correct word.
Yeah. And diesel.
Which is
they've got the diesel.
And diesel, correct. Which is why I tell people, this Ranger is over-engineered. I gutted it. I don't think any company knows is as intimate with this Ranger as APG is. We've gotten down inside. We've looked at the bones. I mean, the frame, everything from the electrical system, drive system, frame system, all the bracketry, everything is double welded, everything is gusseted. It's just so strong. It's a commercial vehicle. They use it for hauling gear through the outback. It can stand what we put it through here in the United States.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right. So let's say somebody has their brand new Ford Ranger and they want the full Pro Runner package. What all does that include, and what's it going to run?
Got it. So let's say you have a truck already. Our conversion starts at $15,950. Now that's everything. That's retail. That's with installation, all the paint, the body. As if once the vehicle arrives in my facility for $15,950, you leave with that truck completely done. That includes all Ford original PPG paint and body, state-of-the-art installation, alignment, anything that's needed to get it drivable out the door.
Well, that's pretty awesome.
Yes. To get that done right now, to go back to your original question, to get that done right now, you need to reach out directly to APG. You can call us. You can email us. We answer every call and every email. We are in the midst of working on setting up a series of dealers and installation shops kind of anywhere from here out to Pennsylvania. We just released this product, so it's going to take us a little bit of time to set that up. But right now, we're the only shop who can build our newly designed truck. So reach out directly to us. Okay.
Yeah, so I've seen this video of the mid-size Raptor essentially cruising around. It looks like Johnson Valley.
Yeah, that is Johnson Valley. Good eye.
Figure I'd recognize some of those areas.
Oh, yeah. Johnson Valley is guys like you and I. That's our playground.
Oh, man. And, totally off topic here, but they have unlocked the training area that I live at. Since we can't, go down the longest cul-de-sac in the world and leave, I now can go play in these areas that look exactly like Johnson Valley. So it's pretty awesome.
Great. So it's got rocks and sand, right?
It does.
That's the best part.
There's unfortunately a 35 mile per hour speed limit. That's the only difference. But
interesting.
Some of those areas you couldn't do 35 if you had to.
That's true. I think it's one of the reasons I loved off-roading was no speed limits.
Exactly. All right, back on topic. So as I was seeing these, it's got the wide body kit, the 10 inches wider. Is that right?
Yeah, man. I mean, we really believe wider is better, and in almost every situation,
especially for desert going high speed stuff. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, definitely. In order to make this truck look and perform in the way that we wanted it to, we made it 10 inches wider than stock. It's 5 inches per side. It's got a full new, complete proprietary replacement front fenders, and bed sides. It's all made of high-end aerospace grade infused carbon fiber, all made in-house by us. We made it 10 inches wide because we wanted to be able to give it a stance, an aggressive look, and have the open real estate to totally tuck and clear 35-inch tall tires, which is that's not being done by any other kit available on the Ranger. Since we're going to go so much wider in the body, and you've got these new widened control arms, and everything now is wider than stock. I keep using that word wide. Other things have to get done. So once you widen your control arms, you need to widen your tie rod. You widen your front. You widen your front fender system. You got to match that front bumper so it all looks proportionate. It all kind of comes together. So all those things you see in the series one kit are all included.
That is awesome. And it's what's really amazing is that it looks like 35 just fit perfectly. Like that is what it was made for. So the way the fenders are shaped, it just matches beautifully.
Absolutely. We completely agree. We flared it. If you look at when we were originally going through the data, I mean, this is all CAD design, computerized automation. It wasn't like kind of hand Mickey Mouse put together. It's built correctly. When we put it inside, we arced the fenders specifically for 35s. We flared it out just for Fit 35s. Everything was done with calculated thought. So can you run a smaller tire size? Of course. It's going to – I guess the joke would be it looked like you skipped leg day, but it's going to – yeah. But we clear completely without any contact.
So that is kind of an interesting idea. Like maybe somebody doesn't have the cash to lay down all at once to get the full APG treatment for the pro runner. Is there a way that they could like maybe get it in stages and work their way up to that full kit?
I actually get that question asked a lot. The first answer is yes, but you can't go suspension then body or body then suspension.
Yeah.
If you could go suspension and no body with your original tire size, but things have to mechanically work together, and we won't set anybody up for failure, right? If you did do the whole body system first and you left your suspension stock, your wheels and tires will be sitting inside those flared body panels.
Right.
It may not look correctly, but there is you won't have the look you want. I think the best bet would be to talk to our friends at Affirm Financing and get the truck built correctly the first time.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that I've seen the last couple of years is people are able to get the truck that they want right from the beginning and be able to enjoy it instead of just kind of building it out themselves over time and putting in all their own sweat equity. And, next thing you know, the truck's long past warranty time and they're still not to where they want. When they could have just rolled it all in there together.
Man, that brings up a really great point. You got to check this out. So we built the truck to be modular. This conversion system, this pricing that I listed off at $15,950. That is our introductory price, and it's our Series 1. But what you can do to your truck after that is so much more. It's so much more. So if you look at the modularity of the front bumper system, that introduction price is going to give you all the whole conversion so you can hit the desert. But let's say, I now want a winch. I couldn't afford a winch in the beginning. Now I want a winch.
Yeah.
Our front bumper comes with this black closeout bracket. All you do is pop that bracket off, and the real estate is there already for the winch. You don't have to rebuy the front bumper, which is that I've made that mistake twice in buying a front bumper. I didn't think I wanted something, but I wanted it later. I had to change the whole layout. Now let's say, hey, later on down the line, I'm not ready to drop some money on some nice lighting products. You don't need to go cut out holes. There's another closeout bracket. You pop that bracket out, boom, you can drop in 4 KC Flex highlights, or you can drop in 4 4-inch Baja Design lights, or a small 20-inch light bar. We built the truck to be modular, so you can build it in stages and not have to rebuild things you did in the beginning. And that one hit home with me because personally, I had to rebuild my vehicle so many times.
Oh, man.
I was one of the guys in the beginning. I went from 32s to 33s, 33s to 34s. I'm on 40s plus right now. So
man,
that shows you the evolution of it.
Yep.
But yeah, we get you the truck in the Series 1. You don't even need to take the truck into a shop afterwards. You build it from that point. You can bolt on skid plates. You can bolt on a rear bumper, a roof rack, a bed cage, tent system, lighting, winch system. You can do all sorts of various Overland equipment. It can all be done in the comfort of your garage. But we get you started with that Series 1 system.
That's outstanding. So as I'm scrolling through here on your Facebook page, and I'll have a link to this in the show notes too, it looks like you're using the Toyo MT tires, but I don't recognize those wheels. Is that like a standard wheel that you guys go with, or an in-house design, or what are you using?
No. Those are our good friends at 1552. They're newer. I want to call them a newer wheel company, but they're just kind of getting into the off-road community right now. They make a fantastic wheel. They've got some new designs that's a little bit out of the ordinary. It's not so cookie cutter. They've got a lot of great models and looks and various colors. We stock them. We are a dealer for them. We actually do not include wheels and tires in our Series 1. We do that by design.
Okay.
Everybody's super picky on their wheels and their tires.
Yeah.
It's a personal preference, and we get that. We don't want to force anything down your throat. We prefer you to pick, as they say, a wheel and a sock package per your preference. We've got our recommendations, and we'll render any look you want before you buy. 1552 just happens to be somebody we like to represent, and we support them.
Yeah, well, they absolutely look very unique. That's not something that I've seen necessarily before. They stand out, which is fitting for the entire truck. It just looks outstanding. And some of the pictures, when you look a little bit closer, you can kind of see some of the details that may not pop out as much initially. Like you can actually see the carbon fiber on the flare part of the fenders kind of comes through the parts that aren't necessarily painted. That looks so awesome.
Yeah, thanks, man. So actually the whole panel itself is carbon fiber. It's not a flare. A lot of guys keep asking, how much do your fender flares cost? How much do how do I buy those? This is not a fender flare. This is not a flare. It's a whole body panel. Yeah. It gets bolted on and unbolted on the same way you would a factory panel, factory mounting positions. So since the whole panel is carbon fiber, you have your options whenever you order your truck through us. We can leave the whole panel exposed carbon fiber. We can mask off and leave clear just the outer fender flare portion, or heck, we'll leave the whole dang thing exposed carbon fiber. It's whatever the customer wants.
That is awesome. And I'm sure switching to the carbon fiber over the metal panels and the bed sides, that probably cuts down quite a bit of weight as well.
Yeah, in the old days, carbon used to cut a lot off stamped sheet metal. Now, Ford especially, they're working with lightweight alloy aluminums. Yep. So we do shave weight. We do actually shave 100 pounds off this truck with our conversion. Between the bumper systems, the factory used a big, heavy 100-pound steel bumper. Our front all-aluminum bumper only weighs about 21 pounds. So it's significantly less. Now that's with the steel the steel D-ring pass-throughs, the shackles. That adds half. The naked bumper without powder coat itself weighs 9 pounds.
That's crazy. That's a lot less than the bumper that sits on the front end of my Jeep. But mine gets bashed into some rocks and trees and everything, depending on where I'm at, quite a bit.
Correct. That's hey, on my rock crawlers as well. I run steel. I do run steel, but the Pro Runner is not it's not a purpose-built rock crawler. It's a perfect hybrid between everything. You can take it out to the mountains. You can trail run it on the desert through a small to medium whoop section. You can take it out to a mild rock crawling, and you can also drive it to work 5 days a week.
That is awesome. All right, so you're located in down here in Southern California. Somebody can come meet up and see everything, see the shop, but if they were to kind of go online, where would you have them go to learn more about Automotive Performance Group and the Ford Ranger Pro Runner packages?
Well, automotiveperformancegroup.com. If you want to learn a little bit about our company, you can take a look at our services. If you want to look at more photos of the Pro Runner, or you want to learn more about what's included, hit that download link and you can download a full brochure. It really goes over everything. Just read it front to back. It'll answer a lot of questions you have. If you still have more questions that aren't answered, give us a call.
Awesome. George, I really appreciate your time, and hopefully once we come out of Corona jail, we'll be able to link up, whether it's down there at the shop or out here in Johnson Valley down the road from me. That'd be outstanding.
Awesome, man. Awesome. Well, I tell your listeners to keep tuned. We've got a lot of fun stuff coming out. We're not just a company building Rangers. We are a full-service build facility. We build Jeeps, trucks, buggies. We really do it all. Keep an eye in the next 6 months. We're going to be releasing our next 2 models that are already in design right now.
Awesome. Well, I can't wait to see that stuff showing up. So, cool. All right, George, we will talk to you later.
Thank you so much.
You're listening to a 4x4 Radio Network podcast.
Artemis Overland Hardware is a local family-run business that supplies your adventures. They have a brick-and-mortar store located in Springfield, Missouri, where you can come in, browse the huge selection of equipment, and when I say the selection is huge, I mean it's huge. Artemis Overland Hardware has a large chunk of catalog available from Oztent, 23-0, Easy On, Snowmaster fridges, and the Timbo Tusk, all the things Timbo Tusk, whether it's the Scottle or slides or tables. We've got Covia, Frontrunner, Alucab, iCamper, Come Up Winches, Factor 55, Crazy Beaver Tools, National Luna, Red Arc, Ironman 4x4, and Goose Gear. And they actually do Goose Gear installations there, which is pretty awesome. Not a lot of places do that. Now, this is not just a long list of reputable brands. Artemis Overland Hardware is about building relationships. And relationships with customers are absolutely important. And they're only able to guarantee your satisfaction because they've developed that relationship between those brands and Artemis Overland Hardware. During this COVID-19 lockdown period, the showroom is unfortunately closed, but ArtemisOverland.com is open for business and orders are shipping like normal. If you have any questions, then you can still call and talk to Aaron and his team. Be sure to check them out at ArtemisOverland.com. Get equipped and ready for all your adventures, wherever they may take you. That's ARTEMIS Overland.com. Check them out and hit them up on social media. Be sure to say thank you for their continued partnership with the 4x4 podcast. Okay, so, Craig, you mentioned some bad news about this transmission. Lay it on me.
Well, this is how it went. Of course, I've been dealing with the transmission, trying to get parts and all that stuff. So I went and ordered a while back. Actually last year, ordered a brand new transmission. And the first time it came in, there was a problem with it. I sent it back. All they did was change the front. There's two different types of 15s for this Jeep. And for some reason, I don't know why there's two different types of transmissions for my Jeep, but one's, I guess, for a 4-cylinder and the other one's for the 6, but it's marked as the same transmission. And, so dealing with this, company, my friend highly recommended, I went out and looked, I ordered this transmission from it because it was going to be cheaper than trying to, get all the parts and put it back together. So I ordered it. The guy's like, oh, no, okay, I need this, this, and this. And okay, yeah, this is this, 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 this. And when they sent it to me, they sent it with the longer front cover. Well, then I know with the longer front cover, the longer the input shaft for the transmission that runs the clutch and all that is going to be wrong. So I messaged them and I sent the transmission back. Well, apparently all they did was change the front cover and sent me the transmission back.
Oh, geez.
So that output shaft looks like 1/8 of an inch too long. And the bearing, where the bearing sits, is way thicker. So I got to send the transmission back again.
How far I assume this isn't a local shop. You can just
I
haul
wish
it over.
It was, because I'd go throw it through their front window right now.
Oh, man. That's super frustrating.
Yeah, it's going to cost me another $350 or $365 to ship it back. This is the second time I've done this. So I emailed them yesterday, and since my car accident, I've been working at work, but around the house, I've been taking it real easy because my back and my shoulders are still screwed up from my car accident. So I really haven't wanted to try to lift my transmission for my Jeep. The other day, I decided clean the garage up. Okay, I got enough room. I'm going to unbox the transmission and call a buddy up and have him come over and give me a hand, just because I want to get this thing in. And then I started checking things out and realized it was a waste of time. So now I got to box it back up, take it over to UPS and ship it back. But that was kind of blessing or not. I was able to then go get my new camera, my Vizio 129. They came in, and I did a little unboxing video. I just posted it, and installed it. And the installation, it gives you all the tools. It gives you a little plastic tool to pull the headliner away so you can tuck the wires up in there.
Oh, that's handy. It's not just a flathead screwdriver.
Oh, yeah. Oh, great. And it was plastic, so it didn't damage anything. My hardest thing was running the wire because, a Durango, they have that big hatch. Okay. trying to run it through one of those little rubber grommets and getting it up in there. That took a while, but the rest of the installation, I'm looking at going, oh God, this is going to be horrible. Dude, I was done in like 10 minutes. Got the wires all tucked in there. With that little tool, made it so easy. Had the wires done in 10 minutes. I was like, yes, okay. But I also got the hardwire kit for the camera, so I could hardwire it into the fuse box. So you just turn the vehicle on, it turns on. Okay, newer vehicles are a royal pain in the ass.
Oh yeah.
To find the correct wire where you could have a straight direct power, and finding if you're looking at the fuse box, you're looking at the fuse box lid.
Yeah. Okay.
I looked at this thing for over 2 hours trying to figure out which item I'm looking at it, figure, oh, okay. Any other one, it pretty much explains start, stop, this and that, this has power, normal, not these newer ones. Oh my God. I could not, for the life of me, figure out by just looking at the top, which had power and which had not.
Yeah.
When the engine was, or when the key was on, or we can say button now, this is a button, but with the key on, had power because it gives you 3 wires. It gives you the black wire for ground, the red wire for solid power at all the time, and then a yellow wire that you hook to an accessory. So an accessory, it turns on when you turn the key, so it'll turn the camera on and off. Finding that took 5 hours.
Good night.
Finally, I got frustrated, went looking for my test light, realized that my test light was busted. I said, screw this, went over to the store, got a new test light, came home. Okay, okay, all right, hooked up. So don't try it without a freaking test light, which I did, which was stupid.
Yeah. Well,
stupid in the first place, but I should have done it with a test light straight off the bat. It wouldn't have taken me so damn long.
If you're ever really, really bored and you're just looking to waste some time, try to find the fuse on the inside of a late model Ram truck. Because you're not going to find any.
Oh, geez.
Well, they're not. They're all under the hood.
They're all under the hood. Yeah.
They're all under the hood. I mean, and then I don't even know where my battery is in that car because there was no battery under the hood. I was just like, but there's 2 major cables that are marked red that are showing power and showing where you hook to jumpstart and where to ground to. I'm like, oh, okay, so the battery must be, thinking, in the little compartment in the back. So it should...
Well, I tell you, right now you're making me really glad that I drive a vehicle made in the 90s. Like, all of that's pretty easy to figure out. But there are other issues that come with driving an old vehicle.
Oh, yeah. Well, I don't know. I was after this frustration that happened last weekend, I was actually at work driving, and I was on my way back, and I happened to go through the Cordelia. I want to say Cordelia, but it's not Cordelia. One of the scales in Northern California, and I look over, and the guy has a 98. I think it was a 98 Cherokee. It's all outfitted for 4-wheeling, 4-door, and he had a for sale sign on it.
Oh,
so CHP officer has one of had it for sale, and I'm looking, going, you know what? I really think I want to stop, check out how much he wants for it, but
I bet you
I'm in too bad of a mood. I'm going home.
I bet you it would be almost the same price as your transmission going back and forth.
No, this one actually looks nicer than yours.
Oh, wow. Well, mine is one of those good from far, but far from good.
Yeah, I was wondering how how it would look, but it was a 4-door. I'm like, might note that for Dan later.
Yeah. Well, it seems like the prices on them are going up. They've reached that critical mass, or the tipping point, or whatever you want to call it, where
enough of them have been destroyed that now people want them, and now the price is going up.
Yep. But, all right. Well,
all right.
Rich, probably not a lot of off-roading in there, but what all you been up to besides working on the house?
Oh, that's it. We're absolutely just working on the houses all the time. If I'm not at the hospital, I'm painting or cleaning or boxing up stuff or moving or something. So
well,
we're putting all of the trucks to use. So it's like this nonstop train of truckloads of crap, basically going from house to house.
Well, I feel like I've been doing enough, like, wrenching and stuff for all of us. Like, it's been, just using.
Been busy.
Yeah. Like, I feel like I've got so many projects piled up in the garage that have been neglected for so long that now I'm finally getting after them. But like anything else, as soon as you do one thing, it leads to another. The spiral continues. But, I've had this Snorkle kit. I bought it a couple of years ago while I was up in Alaska still, with the intention of installing it, and then realized that it didn't install as nicely as I thought it would go. Like, it just didn't work out. And so I actually put the whole thing on Facebook Market. I was going to sell it and then look at alternatives, because I still want to get some sort of raised intake or pre-filter or something, because I'm just wrecking air filters every time I go off-road because there's so much silt and dust here. And, I could just keep buying air filters and just keep a stock of them, but that seems like a ridiculous idea. So I eventually decided, you know what? I'm going to make this thing work. And so these cheap Chinese-made snorkels for the XJs, and they make them for other vehicles. I modified the tube that comes through the fender. So instead of making it do a 90-degree bend as soon as it comes through the initial fender skin, I chopped it, cut out the 90-degree angle, used a crap ton of epoxy so that now it's straight, and essentially just cut a hole through both the outer fender and the inner fender so it goes right into the engine bay. And that took a little bit of doing, just because, it's easy to use a hole saw on a flat surface, but the inner fender is not flat. So more death wheel, using the grinder and a sawzall to kind of cut that out to shape. But I finally got it, and I'm pretty happy with it. The challenge I think I mentioned before is that it's mounted about an inch higher than it was made to. So, there's that crease in the fender that's on all the Jeep Cherokees, and the Snorkle is molded to fit that crease. So mine's a little bit higher, and so there's a tiny gap, but you really got to look for it. And there's a bunch of other things that are going to distract you if you're looking at the Jeep. So I'm pretty happy with how it came out. But additionally, instead of using just that 90-degree bend for the intake, the air scoop part that you see on the majority of the Snorkle kits, I instead have a pre-filter assembly. And so it's like a clear bowl with a black lid on top of it. It sucks air in from the bottom of the bowl, and there's fins on it, so it creates the turbulence and spins the air around, kind of like a Dyson vacuum, So it spins all the particulate that's getting sucked in through the intake, and it pushes it to the outside so that only fresh air gets sucked into the actual Snorkle tube going down into the intake of the engine. And so it's nice. I like that it's clear, so I can see what's getting collected, and then I know periodically just to go empty it out. And there's a wing nut on the top where you unscrew it, take the lid off, and the bowl just comes right off, and you dump it all out. So what I think...
That's a great comparison, Dan. If anybody's ever wondering what a pre-filter is, just think of it as a Dyson vacuum.
Yeah.
It basically works the same way.
Yeah. Or like a dust collector in a carpentry shop. I don't know if you've ever seen that,
right.
But like it creates that tornado or the vortex where it's pushing all that heavier stuff to the outside.
Stuff out.
Yep.
And it makes so much more sense for the area that you're in, too.
Yeah. And so I know...
really, to be honest, most areas.
Yeah, every area. Because the snorkels that people think are saving them from water when they go, like, smashing into a lake or a river to cross, there's a lot of other sensitive things that need to be avoiding the water, not just the intake. So this is really specifically for dust. Now, and I guess if I'm going to do a long highway drive, maybe I'll throw that little 90-degree air scoop on it so it's forcing air in at speed for highway drives. But for, all the time that I spend out driving in the dirt, this is going to be way more appropriate. There's lots of videos on YouTube. Just look up, Snorkle pre-filter, and just know it's not like a foamy type of filter that goes on ahead of time. It's the one that spins the air around. And I put I don't know if I actually shared it, but I'll put it on Instagram. So if you're not following us on Instagram, I recommend you do that, and you can kind of see what I'm talking about. But that project is complete. Snorkle fully installed. So it feels good to have that checked off since it's been sitting in my garage for years, literally, at this point. But I mentioned recently that, I've got a tear in the driver's seat on the cushion, and Corbo was going to ask, $180 in 12 to 14 weeks because of backlog and the material. So that did not sound like a great idea. And I'm sure they do, refresh some of the foam or something. I would think. I can't imagine it's just fabric for $180, but I pulled out the seat cushion bottom. I had ordered some material, and it's anytime you're ordering something off the internet and you expect it to match something that already exists, like that's a dicey situation. But turns out it matched perfectly with the old stuff.
You do?
Yeah. Yeah.
I never expected to match.
Well, you hope that it matches. How about that? You hope for it to match. So I even did a blind test with one of my kids. I said, hey, which one is the old fabric and which one's the new fabric? She said, they look the same. I said, boom, that's a win for me. But it took a little bit of sewing. I had my daughter kind of teach me how to use the machine, and with some patience, I actually got it done. So the seat cushion, that's complete. Done. Now I can move on to the other projects. So I still haven't got the new harness for the third row seat. There's a little bit of a backlog on that one. But I did start installing my Ironman 4x4 winch from Ironman 4x4 America. There's a pile of lights and a bunch of other camping stuff, so I'm looking forward to getting that all installed. And the welder has arrived. I think I'm supposed to pretend that I don't know that since my birthday's right around the corner. But it's there. I've seen it. I just haven't opened the box. But there's a lot of projects still left to be done, even though I'm complete with some. But oh Lord, so many projects that I got. Every time I walk through the garage and I see all these things, I should really do some stuff. So I've been trying to get after it because I'd like to be ready for the Rubicon Trail soon.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, we had talked about trying to do that this summer, but it doesn't look like it's going to happen this summer. My work schedule has been destroyed by the quarantine, but there's still...
Well, it's not exactly a quarantine. It's more of a ask you to stay home order.
Well,
because the quarantine has a totally different meaning, and a lot of people aren't realizing that this is a stay-at-home order, not a quarantine. A quarantine means nobody in and out, nobody move nowhere, and they keep using that. It's not the way I feel.
Sure. Yeah, there was no asking questions for me. It was for sure saying you will stay. So turns out my boss has that kind of power.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I don't think I had an off-road 101 type of thing in there, but we'll save that for another future show because I failed to actually put the link in our show notes. But we do have some feedback. This was an email from Mark Carrera. He said the latest podcast reminded him of a suggestion for us. He asked if we've ever checked out Kent Rollin's YouTube channel. He says the guy is a real deal cast iron chef. He used to cater meals to ranches during cattle working from a real chuckwagon. Think you would enjoy him. By the way, he beat Bobby Flay in a chicken fried steak and won on Chopped Kitchen Grilling Edition. I do like his saying, you can't get full on fancy. Have you guys seen that, Kent Rollin's YouTube channel?
I have not seen his YouTube channel, but I did think I watched the episode where he beat Bobby Flay.
Oh, yeah? I did not see that, but I have been subscribed to his YouTube channel for at least a year. And for sure, he is the real deal. He's super smart, makes all kinds of great food. My kids think it's hilarious because, he's in Oklahoma. He has obviously been in that Oklahoma, Texas region for a long time. He's got a thick accent, and he does not apologize for it. So they think it's kind of hokey, but I said, no, that's just how he talks. So for sure, we'll have a link to that in the show notes there. He's got a giant YouTube channel, and if you're into cast iron cooking or cooking outside even, for sure check that one out because he's got tons of great tips.
I'll have to look for it. I recently purged on my YouTube subscription. If you hadn't made a video in over a year, you were gone. So
yeah,
again.
Yep, that's me.
So I'm looking for some new YouTube subscriptions. So if anybody's got some good ones out there, let me know.
Kent Rollin's, that's a good one.
The only problem is I can't watch food shows. It makes me too damn hungry.
Yeah.
And I'm big enough as it is. I don't need any more suggestions on good food because I love good food.
Well, yeah, I will say the food that he's cooking is not healthy food.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It is food that's made for ranch hands that are going to be burning it off. So, I still, when you're camping and going off-roading, typically I find myself burning a lot of calories because there's a lot of moving around. So that's the kind of stuff you have there. But I think that's it for episode 157. Be sure to head over to 4x4radio.com. You'll find all the other shows on the 4x4 Radio Network. We got the Jeep Talk Show, the Center Steer Talk Show, Center Steer Podcast. Sorry, I totally messed that up. Sorry, John. I apologize. Cody and Matt are over on the Trail Chasers and On the Trail with Kevin and Scott, who we still need to bring onto the show to introduce everybody here. Thanks again to Artemis Overland Hardware for helping this show continue. Be sure to check them out on all the social medias, Facebook, Instagram, and of course at artemisoverland.com, or whenever you're able to get past the end of your driveway for anything more than essential work and business, check them out in Springfield, Missouri there at their showroom. If you have any feedback, we would love to hear it, just like Mark did. You can use the email, the 4x4podcast at yahoo.com. Be sure we can also get feedback through Facebook and Instagram and Twitter. Lots of stuff there. And, of course, the voicemail, 719-924-5337. It's been a while since we've gotten any entertaining voice messages. Usually we get spam calls. All those robocalls you get, yeah, we get them here too. But that's it. So now it's time.
Well, hopefully this recent mass release of all these episodes that we've done, hopefully we'll start getting some good feedback.
Yeah, we are on a roll. We've been staying on schedule. So all those people that, send me hate mail about having a really crappy release schedule, you're right. But I'm doing better now.
Yeah, find something else to complain about now.
Exactly. Oh. But send us that feedback anyways. We're always looking for ways to improve, unless you're going to tell me fix the release schedule, because no promises. As soon as I go back to work, this is all falling apart. But for now, it's time to hit the trails. So tread lightly, God bless, and stay safe while exploring your world.